Hi, everybody. My name is Maura Keefe. I'm one of the scholars in residence here, and it is my privilege to be able to chat with these artists whose work we've seen this evening. Let me please introduce Tina Finkelman-Burkett, the artistic director of the company, and the associate artistic director, Guzman Rosado. Also, I think you saw him dancing his face off tonight. So one of the things that I think is really interesting is that this is the first time that you have performed outside. Lots of companies who have a career in the former Doris Duke Theater have an opportunity to be on this space, but not you. You started out inside and then you've moved outside, and it's so striking to think how unadorned you have to be and how fully present. And I was just wondering if you could. Tina, start off by saying something about how you prepared the company to think about kind of the backdrop, the no lights, and what it might feel like. And then I'm going to ask you, Guzman, to say something about what it's like to dance out here.
First of all, thank you for acknowledging that. I think it's true. It is kind of like the reverse journey. Mm-hmm. But I think if there's anything we've learned at Body Traffic during this pandemic, it's that you go with the flow and you do whatever you have to do to share dance with as many people as possible. Thank you. Yeah, we really feel that way. And so when Pam, the incredible director of The Pillow, invited us to do the outdoor stage, I felt that it would be a tremendous honor to just be back at The Pillow. We felt really lucky to have a third engagement here and to revisit our Pillow audiences. And we thought a lot about the fact that we've gotten so clear on the values that we build the company on, and the fact that we are just committed to sharing the joy of dance. We want people to feel the work that we're doing and feel like they're a part of it. And in a way, it kind of makes sense at Body Traffic that the dancers would see the audience during a show. So this really felt in many ways like the perfect thing for us to do at this moment in time. And to answer the second part of your question, how did I prepare them? Well, there was an extra attention to detail and unison because I knew that the setting is so beautiful and there's so much to look at and take in that we had to be as precise as possible because you see every little thing that could be off. So I definitely feel like tonight they accomplished it beautifully. I was really proud. Yeah.
Guzman, could you say something about what it's like to dance out here?
Well, it's very different, yeah, and it's very lovely. It's such an immersive experience, and the way we take in, the air, the sounds of the birds and everything. It permeates through the work and how we actually engage with the pieces and how we perform them because it sort of feels like a symbiosis that becomes, just nature. Mm-hmm. So it's just, it's lovely.
I mean, I've been thinking as I watched it yesterday during the day and last night and tonight is that you're getting beautiful lighting design, by the way. So yeah, you can, yeah. I want to just now talk about some of the work we saw tonight and start with Matthew Neenan's work, A Million Voices. And it's to hear that Peggy Lee music is fabulous. Maybe you could say something, Tina, about the building of that work and what it was like to work with Neenan in the studio.
So we actually built A Million Voices on a ranch. We stayed on a dude ranch in Arizona. We were hosted by an incredible residency program in Wickenburg, Arizona. And the dancers and I at night, we would put on cowboy hats and cowboy boots. Matthew Neenan, right, was with us as well. And so we really felt kind of immersed in this Americana in a way that none of us really live lives like that. We live in Los Angeles, which is nothing like a dude ranch, So we were in this element of a pastime of America, and this really fed the work because Matthew wanted to capture this idea that you could be patriotic, you could be proud of who you are in America, and you could celebrate yourself, and other people would join in that too. And so we really felt like we were building this kind of culture that, he assumed, of course, Matthew's only in his 40s, but he assumed maybe that's how people felt when they wanted Kennedy to be president. this time in the world where we felt like we could fight for all the right things and all the real sense of equality that could be. And so thank you. Yeah. So we still today, when we do this work, it's in there. We're like trying to call people's attention to what is possible for our country. And I will say myself that I'm a big believer in live performing arts, and I think if anything is going to inspire us to be better people, it's going to band together and share something like A Million Voices with audiences, and that's why it feels like the perfect fit for our company. So I really feel like Matthew nailed it. He captured the essence of the company and what it is that we're trying to communicate. So it was a dream to work with him.
And then a really dramatic shift. And Guzman, you danced through this transition, so maybe you can talk about this. Because then we have notes on Fall, Brian Brooks's work, and Brooks was here yesterday. This work, it wasn't built on you, so you've moved into it as a dancer. So it feels like something that really deepens in the learning of it and the performing of it. So could you talk a little bit about, first, the shift from that kind of million voices patriotism and some really clear ballet aesthetics, which is your original background, and then to go into that work of Brian's?
Well, I think as a performer, we are sort of, and I've been doing this for over 20 years, so you sort of learn how to switch from one piece to another and ground yourself and sort of cleanse before you come out and take upon another voice. And well, my journey with Brian was, he's an amazing choreographer, and actually he came here yesterday just to, send us off. And it was beautiful because the notes, no pun intended, that he gave us were more on the side of the human side instead of the aesthetics or the dancer perspective. So for me, the journey of this piece, it really latches on the four tasks that he conveyed to me, before going on stage, which there are like 4 sections, and every section felt like a life's journey, and I pretty much witnessed those tasks and I let it happen, to me and just drive it. So almost like in human beings, you rely on each other, for example, and as you could see, Tiare, our dance captain, it was really much guiding me, let's say, and it was imprinting, in my body, the direction, what to take, and I was just riding her wave, and those are conversations that he's very much interested in. And another, for example, when we are latched into each other's necks, it was talking about what do you call it, when you were restrictions, and how that it really shifts the how you approach things in life, or how you really overcome obstacles in life. And
so that it's both a physical task, but then it takes on this layer of meaning, especially in such a close partnership.
Yes.
Yeah. And so then the last piece, Michaela Taylor, she's artist in residence. Tina, say something about what it means for her to be the artist in residence, what that means for Body Traffic.
Thank you. We love Michaela. Michaela, Los Angeles born and bred. She was a Body Traffic dancer. She has a voice and a style that is so specific, and the piece is meant to show this kind of struggle between your individual groove and that feeling you get like you have to conform to what other people are doing. So you see the dancers struggling to do we give in, or do we just act robotic and follow in this militant way? And I think that it's almost like, in my opinion, Michaela hasn't said this, but like an autobiography, because she has done this. She has fought to be herself and show her own style and this melting pot of contemporary dance and hip hop and ballet. And I just feel like she captures all of what there is in Los Angeles, and she is the best representative of our city. And in our commitment to representing LA, it's like the perfect fit for her to be.
It does feel like there's this way you could read it as kind of Body Traffic's history, because all of the things that the dancers pass through as movement sensibilities in that work feels like, well, she danced that in this company and in her own work. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Tina, the question I have for you really specifically is, I think of you from previous years as being kind of the driving dancing force of the company, and we're not seeing you this week. Want to say something about that?
Yeah, something about that made me kind of emotional. Yeah, it's been a really challenging couple of years for a lot of people. And in welcoming almost an entirely new company, besides Guzman and Tiare, who both dance the duet, Brian Brooks's duet, we have all new dancers. And it feels more than ever like to be a director really means to offer the dancers the support that they need. And I have been dancing kind of intermittently throughout the past year, but when I do that, so much focus has to go on me, and it feels odd at this time to not give them some of them are sitting back there, they're so amazing. Not to give them all the attention. Yeah, thank you. They're amazing. I love every one of them. And then in a more kind of brass tacks is that if I were to dance, I have to take one of them out. And they're so amazing. I don't know why I would do that. They're just nailing it. So I am kind of on and off the stage, but yeah, I love watching them, and then there's a small piece of me that has a little sadness around it.
Well, we got a hell of an understudy in you, so that's good.
Yeah.
So my last question is just your dream choreographers you want to commission work from next.
Ooh, that's a tough one. That's good. You know, it's odd. In all the 15 years of Body Traffic, I've been all about discovering the next voices, and I'm still really committed to that, to helping to find and highlight the voices in our industry that deserve attention. But something about this moment also, I'm really called to revisit people that I love and that I've loved working with. There's something really comforting about knowing the experience we'll get. And so it is calling to me to get back in the studio with Kyle Abraham and a lot of other choreographers that we've worked with over these past years. I also, this idea you mentioned of the bucket list, this has been a major Body Traffic thing. Since we started, we said there was a bucket list. And I will admit, maybe today's the first day I'll say this, I'm a little bit over it, which is kind of a relief. I think I just feel so good about what we're doing, and I'm not so worried about checking off all the boxes anymore. I don't know.
That's a great answer. And I want to say we're thrilled that you're back. We're thrilled you've brought new fabulous dancers with you, and we look forward to your return. Thanks for being here.
Thank you for
Thanks,
everything.
everybody.
Thanks, everyone. Thank you.
Now I got a move that tells me what to do. Sometimes it's easy. Now I got a move that tells me what to do. Sometimes I feel so nice, I want to try myself a few.